Hey, y'all, welcome to the very first episode of the Dope Podcast. I am your host, Ehmandah Ramsey, and I'm excited to be back in the podcast space. And I am excited to share stories of individuals that are self made, that have crafted their own unique path in this world to show up confidence in their gift, in their purpose, in their calling. So I am going to be sharing stories from here on out of people that can inspire you and empower you to be who you are called to be. So I'm excited to have my first guest. It's my girl. It's my girl, Ebony. I'm going to bring her in the room. Let's see what's up with my girl, Ebony. What's up,
Hey, Amanda.
Ebony? Hey, how are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I am good. Now, this is my friend, Ebony. So, Ebony, please introduce yourself, who you are, what you do to my audience.
Well, my name is Ebony Robinson. Um, I have been a um, it's hard to introduce yourself,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I mean, I've owned a retail establishment. I've owned a retail brand for over the last 15 plus years. I have built a community around not just retail, but just empowering women
Hmm.
and just inspiring them to show up and look their best in every facet of their basically their walk of life. So, outside of owning a clothing boutique, I generally have been literally put the word retail in retail therapy. Let's just say that. I feel like I've gained many friendships throughout
Hmm.
my retail uh, business journey, and those friends have become, my ride or dies.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, that's you. And not just you, there's so much more of Ebony, but quick story. So, Ebony and I were Instagram friends. That's how we started out. I don't know who followed first. Was it you? Was it me? I don't know.
I think I followed you first. I
Yeah.
think I found you on the internet. Yes, on
Okay.
Instagram.
Yeah,
Hmm.
Instagram back in, I don't remember, like, what, 2018 probably?
I think 2018. Yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm.
So she
Hmm.
followed me. I followed her back. I was like, oh, she seems like a really cool girl. She has my I don't want to say my bougie spirit, but we like a lot of the same things. Some of the finer things in life. And I went to her store, which was in Irvine, and we met, and it's just been history ever since. And this is my girl. She's my ride or die. And we've gone through so many different transitions in life, especially with our business and being an entrepreneur, where we were able to walk out the journey with each other as we both evolved and pivoted into new spaces. So I'm excited to share her story. So, Ebony, we're just going to have this conversation, like we're sitting there having Prosecco, you and I, or coffee, right? It's kind of early
Right.
for Prosecco, right? It's 11. No, it's not. It's not early.
It's not. It's
It's
actually not.
right. It is not early. But I have a few questions for you, and I know that personally your journey is going to help the listeners that check out Dope Confidence Podcast. So, can you share a pivotal moment in your life that led you to embark on a self made journey defined by your unwavering confidence? Like, what is the pivotal moment?
So you mean like the pivotal moment of when I decided to basically become an entrepreneur?
Mm hmm. Mm hmm.
So just a little history. Outside of me building my retail business, I used to be a preschool teacher. I went to school for early childhood education. I'm not sure if you knew that.
Me too.
Um,
Me too.
I know. I remember you telling me. We do have that in common.
Yes, we
How
do.
much we love children and young people.
Mm hmm.
Um, But for me, I think I shared with you just recently that my thing was like how the moms were coming in and picking up their children after a long day of just working
Mm
or
hmm.
running a business, and just how tired they were. And it just a light bulb went off in me. And I thought, well, who takes care of the moms? And the moms basically take care of everybody. They take care of the kids, the husband. They make sure that the house is running. I say they're basically their domestic CEOs of their homes. And
Mm-hmm.
so they tend to be, they tend to put themselves last. And so, as much as I love, teaching kids early child education, I really saw the mom as an opportunity of someone that I can pour into. So
Yeah.
that's when I decided to start my entrepreneurial journey. I opened like a bath and body boutique where mom and I came together and we custom made lotions and soaps and oils, and we blended essential oils. And a lot of times, essential oils can bring a sense of calm and relaxation to your life. And so we just kind of educated our customers um, about the importance of taking care of themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I started. I opened a bath and body boutique in 2000. It might have been a little bit earlier than that, but around 2000. So girl, is 2024,
Right?
so
Yeah, think about it for a second, huh?
that was a while ago.
Wow. So were you transitioning from being a teacher? Were you experiencing any fear or any, you know, caution flags going up in your spirit like, I don't know, or how were you feeling about that transition?
I was actually really excited. I mean, I was in my early 20s
Mm,
and I knew exactly what I wanted to do. I knew I was ready to no longer serve um, the little
the
ones. I
littles.
was ready to serve their parents, their
Yeah.
moms, and really pour into them. So I knew it took me a while to kind of get exactly what I wanted to do, strategically launched. But
Mhm.
once I launched, I was on go mode. So
Yeah.
at that age, I didn't have a lot of fears. So
Which is amazing though. It's like that was the beginning of, I believe, your purpose and your calling unfolding, even in your 20s. But sometimes I know for us, doesn't matter what age you are, it's kind of hard sometimes or challenging to step out and be courageous in making that step. But you did it. You did it.
yeah, and I think at that time because I felt fearless and
Yeah.
my um this undertaking. I had my mom, I had my husband's
Mm-hmm.
support. I'd already built a community in the area where I was opening my boutique. It was very well received. And again, I was young. I was a fearless warrior at the time. I feel like I hadn't experienced any failures yet,
Yeah.
or learned from any of those lessons. So I didn't have that to fall back on as far as when the fear starts to come up, you start to lean on your failures. And at that
Mm-hmm.
time, I didn't have any. So I just knew like I'm ready to go. This is what I was meant to do. Um,
Wow.
but I gotta bring that spiritual fearlessness
Back.
rise up back in me. Yeah.
Right.
And it
And
is. It is.
yeah, and I often talk about, with confidence, there's these confidence killers, then past failures is one of them, or comparing
Mhm.
yourself to somebody else, or, it may be fear. And, I think the older you get and the experiences that you have in life, we really have to fight against those things because they can hold us back from pursuing the new purpose that we may have.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm. So, how do you define or embody confidence in the pursuit of crafting your own path as an entrepreneur?
So, as you know, the landscape of how people are seen has drastically changed from when we were growing up,
Oh
right?
my God.
So, and you could probably attest to this, like our moms, when they would walk out the door, they weren't worried about being seen by thousands of people. They were just
No.
worried about being seen by the ladies in the community, the ladies at the
Right.
church. And so to me, that was a different type of confidence because you knew like first lady such and such, or the lady you lunch with.
Right.
You can actually be a little more transparent and even a little more vulnerable with them, even in your confidence,
Mm-hmm.
because it was just you and them. My mom and her church lady friends. I always talk about my mom and her church lady friends. I grew up around mostly women, and so it was easy for us to show up for each other. But again, that's still a small community compared to what it is now,
Mm-hmm.
where you literally have to question, you know, every facet of your inner being when it comes to being confident.
Yes.
So it has really changed, like, the definition of what confidence is in the modern day. What do you think? Would you agree?
I would agree. I mean, things have changed so much, especially when you think about, back then I wasn't an entrepreneur. I was just a kid. But, when you fast forward to today and you think about confidence, and we've often had this conversation, like the moment you open up Instagram or TikTok and you see someone doing something similar to what you're doing, it's like your confidence start getting a little shaky, and that's just keeping it
Mhm.
real. So
Right,
I think that we're contending with social media and a world that is like a reality show. Like everybody's world is like a reality show nowadays.
yeah,
So I think we're contending with trying to find uh, the ability to have confidence, not based on what you see.
right.
Yeah. So it's
It has
a
to be
challenge.
something that you cultivate inside of you.
Mm-hmm.
Because if you are basing it on anything exterior, especially when it comes to social media, which we didn't have growing up, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Then you are going to be disappointed oftentimes
Oh yeah.
at things that are not necessarily real. Like you said, it's almost like a reality show. And we
Mm-hmm.
know most reality shows are scripted. So even those aren't real. You know what
Yeah.
I mean?
Right.
So we're looking at people's highlight reels, and we're looking at their best moments,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what we're comparing our worst moments to the people online, their best moments.
Yes.
And so it's like a false sense um, of self worth and self validation.
Mm.
And so you gotta cultivate that confidence inside of you. You
You
know,
really do. You really do. And I think it starts with self-belief, right? So there's self-belief when you believe in yourself and your value, your worth. And then confidence when you believe in your abilities. So it starts within. You got to believe in yourself first,
right,
before you
right,
step out and develop confidence in, when you think about confidence in your abilities, like, well, maybe you're not the best with social media, but you can learn.
right,
You can learn to increase your ability to do some things, but it can be challenging, stepping out in when you look at social media and stepping out as an entrepreneur. So what challenges and obstacles have you encountered on your journey? So you're on a new journey. So you used to be a preschool teacher, and then you had your store with your mom, right? And then you went on, and then you had a store in Irvine, and then you had a store at the Irvine Spectrum, which was amazing. And then life changed, right, for you. And so,
yes,
yeah, right. We already know this is our personal conversation. Life changed for us. We talked all the doggone time. So, what
right.
challenges and obstacles did you encounter on the journey of making a shift or evolving?
For myself, I believe um, oftentimes, and I don't know if this has happened to you, but we kind of want to get back to the way things were, especially when things were really good. And so
Mm-hmm.
you're on a path where you're trying to chase the goodness of what you had.
Mm-hmm.
Um, And that may be long gone. So I think for a minute, I was chasing what I had. I had built this community of beautiful women that I was pouring into, not just by them purchasing clothes from me, but we would do workshops in the store. We would make candles. And then I would go through like how candles are relaxing and tranquil and fragrances and all these beautiful things and florals and, all the things that I was
Yeah.
doing that was very like female empowered centered, right?
Mhm.
And so that was where my identity lied.
Mm.
And when the world turned upside down and all types of things starting to happen to us as individuals, I think at some point I ended up getting a 9 to 5 job, and that was unfulfilling. So felt like I started chasing after when I had my retail store. And people will go, "Why didn't you just open another one?" Well, for one, although it was very fulfilling and rewarding, it was extremely hard.
Mhm.
And so, and at times very overwhelming. And so for me, the new challenges, putting aside those limiting beliefs and those
Mhm.
past failures, and
Mhm.
really leaning into the confidence that I have now. And honestly, I literally have to wake up every morning and tell myself, Ebony, you can do this. You can do this. You can do whatever you set your mind to. God has
Yeah.
put you on this path. You're strong. Like I have to affirm myself and validate my purpose every single day now. So,
Yeah.
but yeah,
And
it's not
so,
easy.
sh- listen, you ain't got to tell me, girl. I already know it's not easy because our stories are very similar. It's like I, you know, when you close down a business. So those of you that have ever had a brick and mortar before, and even just a business that you had to shut down, especially due to the pandemic, you deal with a lot of grief and loss. And that's a conversation that needs to be had on a different podcast, but no one ever talked about that as an entrepreneur. If you close a business, you may experience some grief and some loss and maybe some depression,
Right, right,
and you feel like you've lost your identity because you've built this business, and specifically for me, like a business that was even there was only like two or three in the Inland Empire, right? So
right,
I felt like I was a trailblazer. I built this business and then now kapoof, it's gone, right? I
right,
put I invested money, my time, everything, sacrificed to build this business, and then in a moment, it's gone.
right.
So you wonder, you have these conversations in your head like, who am I now?
Mm-hmm.
Who am
Yeah,
I? And like you said, your identity or your DNA is so built and ingrained in your business, and then you walk away from it and you're like, well, who am I? What am I supposed to do now? But
mm-hmm.
so let's pause and talk about that, because everything that you are now, you were doing in that business.
Right.
So let's talk about that shift from you shutting down your shop and you rediscovering who you are or reclaiming Ebony.
Um, I think, again, it took a couple of missteps for me to really figure that out.
Mm-hmm.
You mentioned something about the conversations that we have with ourselves, and a lot of that, like inner conversation, the mindset that we begin to form, the
Mm-hmm.
fears that begin to develop, the self
Mm-hmm.
doubt that begins
Mm-hmm.
to take a toll over us, and then before you know it, you're in a season. Now you've gone for maybe a couple of days, a couple of months, but now you're in a full season of doubt, worry, fear, all of these things that it feels like you're trying to navigate through quicksand.
Mm.
And you're wondering, like, how am I ever going to get back to that confident, resilient, unstoppable, fearless woman that I used to be,
Mm-hmm.
And so those desires start to be reignited inside of you. And right now, where I am, I'm excited because not only did I launch a candle business called Paper and Perfumes, but I
Yes.
also am launching a lifestyle coaching business, which something I really like touched on in
Mm-hmm.
2021. And because, again, all of those limiting beliefs, all of that self doubt, all of that fear, you know, comparison, I put, I put a lot of work into it. And, but I put it on the back burner because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't believe that this was something that that I could like redefine myself as.
Right. Right. But and you know, because I know you, you were already doing it. You're already doing it in the store every day, right? That's what you were doing for women. You were helping them, you were coaching them, and you just didn't have a title, right, on it. You were doing it.
It felt like it was like second nature, you know? So
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that's what I was doing
Mm.
until afterwards when people were saying or ladies were saying, "Ebony, you're the one who helped me, you know, um get my own confidence, find my own purpose, walk my own path, feel confident in what I'm
Mm.
doing, even look confident, you know, being
Yeah.
able to put people's wardrobes together and styling them and, you know, you know, giving them that kind of rah rah type of cheer. You know what I mean?
Yeah, being their cheerleader.
A little push,
Mhm.
yeah, being their cheerleader, giving them that little push. And so when you say like you were doing it at the time, I just thought I was just being a friendly boutique owner, you know, just because there are times, Amanda, let's just keep it real.
Mhm.
You know, I owned a boutique in Claremont. And before I went to Claremont, and if for
Yeah.
people who don't know, it's a predominantly suburban area,
Mhm.
um, predominantly white, right?
Mhm.
So going into certain establishments, you felt like you didn't belong. And so
Mhm.
I will go into some of these beautiful boutiques that I was like, one day I want to have a boutique like this. But I felt like I didn't belong. I wasn't greeted because of the person that was behind the register. I didn't
Mhm.
feel like I was worthy to even be in a space that all these beautiful like greeting cards and beautiful items and like things that I loved, you know, all the girly
Yeah.
things that I loved. And so I told myself that when I open a boutique, I'm going to be more engaging. I'm going to be friendly. I'm going to greet all of my customers as if they were guests in my home, you
Yeah.
know? And so for me, it was just me being myself, you
Mhm.
know? And when people would literally tell me their problems, I just felt like their girlfriend that they were sitting with in my home, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So putting a label and a title on it now really like kind of um, validates
Mhm.
the journey and the path that God has me on now. So I
Oh
actually
yeah.
own that title now as opposed to just being like, you know, a listening ear basically.
Yeah, I hear you. I think we have those moments, right, where we have the aha moment or an epiphany or the light goes on. It's like,
Mhm.
ah, I am validated. I validate myself to move forward in this space that I
Right.
was already in the space. I just needed to have the
Yes.
moment where I recognized that. So I
Yes.
love
And
that.
it's kind of like, you know, an artist and they go to school and they like to draw and they may go to college and they might do a little, but once they realize that their artistry can make an impact
Mm-hmm.
is when they actually own being an artist.
Yeah.
But until you really like own how what you're doing can serve others, can transform others,
Mm-hmm.
um can bring joy to others, you just think you're just doing what your passion and what you love. You don't really
Yeah.
put any type of seal of approval on it until you recognize that, until
You're
you
like,
know.
girl, I'm just being me. That's it.
Yes. Yeah.
I ain't doing nothing special. Oh my gosh. But yes, and I love how now you have embraced that part of you. You're embracing this new journey so that you can, serve the people you were put here to serve on a larger scale. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's funny because I heard a woman say like, And I think I put this on my Insta recently, that you are an answer to someone's prayer. And I never
Mm-hmm.
realized that, because even with, sorry, I'm shaking the table, even with owning my store, I didn't realize that I was an answer to some of the women who came on their prayers, to find someone who looked like them in a space that maybe they didn't feel seen,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
or to find someone who would listen to them when maybe they didn't feel heard. And so now I'm just like, Lord, let me serve. Let me be an answer to the prayer of these women who are seeking to find someone to show them how to walk in their divine calling, their purpose, their truth, their confidence, all of
Yeah.
these wonderful things that we as women are. So,
Yeah, that's true. We got to remember Miles Monroe talks about this, that you're a gift and do not rob the world of your gift.
right.
And that's what we're here to do. We're here to serve people. We give our gift to people to help them to grow, to learn, to bring impact. Um, so tell me, Ebony, as someone that has paved your own way, and despite what, the naysayers or the voices in our head tell us, what lessons or insights have you gained that you believe will resonate with my audience, talking about having self confidence and believing in yourself and going after what you feel that you should go after?
The lessons that I've learned, honestly, is just to not give up on yourself, even when others give up on you. To know that, as long as, for me, because I'm a believer, that as long as God is for you, who could be against you? You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And so if you walk knowing that, your confidence is within you, no one can give you confidence. No one can give you um, what you need on the outside. It's already inside of you. And
Mm-hmm.
so I had to learn how, even when others kind of like gave up on me once my store closed down, some people just kind of like, chalked it
Yeah.
up as just going to the store around the corner. It was no big deal. But for me, I feel like I was losing my sense of self worth and
Mm-hmm.
everything that I worked really hard for. And I had to find the confidence within me, because no one was coming to rescue me.
Yeah. Yeah.
um so yeah, just to believe in yourself and realize that whatever you're looking for on the outside is already inside of you.
Yeah. It's already inside of y'all. It
Yep.
is. If you don't
Mm-hmm.
know where it is, you got to go on a self discovery to figure out what's
Yes,
inside of you. Yeah.
absolutely.
So I have three questions for you. As someone with a unique path, if you had a time machine, what advice would you give your younger self at the beginning of your journey?
um my younger self,
Yeah.
to use fear as a stepping stone for your next um, space in life. Oftentimes, fear is um, it's like shuttered. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like people are scared of fear, but I think we got to use fear as an opportunity to propel us to our next level. So I would definitely say to my younger self, fear is going to come. There's no doubt about that.
Mm-hmm.
Fear, um, all of these things are going to come, but use them as lessons and use them as tools, and use these things, put them in your toolbox. So whenever you get comfortable,
Mm-hmm.
that fear will show up and you can use it to take you to your next level or elevate you to where you need to be.
Love that. Use your fear somewhat like your fuel.
Yes.
I love
Okay.
that. Okay. I love that. Okay, well, as friends, we know we love to gather. We love to have, a nice glass of wine, sparkling wine, prosecco. We really love great food and aesthetics. If you had a dinner party, and there were three people, it could be a historical figure or someone in the industry. Who would it be, and what would the conversation topic be? If you could have three people.
Oh my goodness. I know one would
Okay.
absolutely be Maya Angelou.
Mm,
Um, I would absolutely love to host her at a dinner party.
okay.
Her voice is so deep, but she has this sense of sophistication and like her wisdom
Mm-hmm.
and knowledge is just like I just want to like sit at her feet and just soak up all of it. Over sparkling wine, of course. Um, I love James Baldwin for the same reason.
Mm,
Um, Again, there's a level of sophistication,
yes.
but an awareness of our own people and our own culture,
Mm-hmm.
and how his words is kind of package us into like this piece of artwork when it comes to our
Mm,
people,
mm-hmm.
because he was a writer and a poet and a speaker.
Yeah.
Um, and who else? It has to be like some fashion person because
Of
I love
course.
fashion.
Of course.
Um, this is probably going to sound weird, given the two people that I've already said, but I would love for my Martha Stewart to be at that dinner party, just with
Really?
yes, with
That's
Maya
interesting.
and James and Martha.
Uh-huh.
I could see because they're. I mean, obviously, Maya is older than Martha, but Martha still has like this wisdom and sophistication.
She
But we
does.
all know she got this edge too, girl.
She
Okay,
does. Hanging
being
out with
friends with
Snoop Dogg and
Snoop
his
Dogg.
friends.
Yes, and she's clever, and I think that she's funny. She has a humor, but then she
Uh-huh.
also knows like where the plates and the forks and the spoons and all that stuff is supposed to go as well.
Hmm.
So it's a very interesting mix. She's not a fashion person, but she is like a lifestyle type of
Yes.
person.
Yeah.
When it
Interior
comes to fashion,
design.
yeah,
Yeah.
she loves interior design. She loves home decor. She loves all of that stuff. She used to be a model, so she like I'm
I
sure she loves
didn't know
fashion
that.
too. Yeah.
What?
Mhm.
Go
She
ahead,
was a
Martha.
model.
I did not
Yeah.
know that.
Yep. She was a model back in the 70s, 60s, 70s.
Wow.
Mhm. So I'm sure she knows about fashion too. Girl, she was on the cover of Vogue at what, like 75 last year.
Wow. I had no idea she was a model. Did she do runway or print? What do
I
you
think
remember?
she did. That's a good question. I want to say she did a little bit of both.
Get out of here.
I want to say she did a little bit of both.
How tall is she? Like 5'10"?
I think she's not a small woman. I think she's tall.
Huh, I might have to look
Um,
that up.
I mean, but I love Naomi Campbell. I love Iman. When
Yeah.
it comes to fashion icons, because I love fashion, and then all the fashion designers, especially the ones from the 90s and the 2000s. So
So what
just
would you
hosting a dinner party of like all of those type of
what
people.
would the conversation topic be? You got James, Maya, and Martha. Sounds like a Bible, some Bible people.
I know, right?
James, Maya, and
Um,
Martha.
I guess the conversation would be about most probably culture,
Okay.
life, art. Martha's creative, so she could definitely speak to art and
Mm-hmm.
navigating the world of media. You know what I
Mm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, so just culture, art, life, music,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, how music impacted a generation that all three of them are pretty much from. Um, I think Martha, being an older white lady, could give a different perspective. I like having people with different
Oh yeah.
perspective
Yeah.
because we can learn from each other. And so I know your listeners are going to probably be like,
Huh?
Martha Stewart,
Right?
girl, we love us some Martha. We do because
Well,
she gets it in with Snoop Dogg. Okay.
it sounds like
Um,
a divine dinner party, darling.
Yes, I believe it would be a divine dinner party. But,
Yes.
Andre Leon Talley, he would be another one that I would love to have there. I like the old heads. I like to hear
Yeah.
wisdom and history, there's a richness there. So
Mm-hmm.
it would be fabulous.
Yes,
I
it
can
would be.
guarantee that.
Well, before we wrap up, can you give us a mantra or a quote that you live by, that can speak to our
Oh,
audience?
goodness. I don't know if I have a mantra or a quote. I have so many different like quotes and thought process ideas.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can't think of anything right now. A mantra or a quote.
It could be a Bible verse, whatever you live by that you can drop and share.
Mm, I mean, the only thing that comes to mind is mm,
Something you're
I
thinking
can't
of?
I can't even think like
It's
y-
okay.
you
It's all
stumped
right.
me with that one, girl, and I'm always posting
I
inspirational
know. That's what I'm
quotes
saying.
and
Like, I'm
stuff. I know
surprised.
that's probably why you asked me because she like this girl's always posting quotes, but
You
I don't
just,
memorize them.
it's all right. Who does, right? Who does? Who does?
I'm sure if I we don't have enough time for me to come up with anything. So
It's all right, It's all right. But
yeah.
she'll drop one, and we'll put all of the information in the show notes where you can follow Ebony, and possibly become one of her clients. She's on this new journey. I'm excited for her. I can't wait to celebrate and see her in person, to have a congratulation toast on launching your new business.
Yes. Yes. This has been wonderful.
Yes. Oh, I love
Thank you
you.
for
Thank you
inviting
so
me to your first podcast
Yes.
episode, Dope Confidence. I love it. I love it.
Thank
It's
you.
good.
Well, everybody, or if you don't know, not everybody knows this, but I love hip hop through and through. Everyone that knows me knows I love me some hip hop. It's probably my number one genre of music, then gospel and then some R&B. But I love me some hip hop. Turned into a sneakerhead during the pandemic, but old school hip hop, classic hip hop, legends, I love all of that. So dope
Hmm.
is
Oh, I
befitting of
thought you
me.
loved smooth jazz.
And saxophones?
I know that's your favorite.
Oh yes. Oh my gosh, I love me some smooth jazz.
I remember when you first told me, like, ugh, I hate. I was
I
like, what?
can't stand
Like, I
it.
hate, I
No
hate smooth
shade to
jazz.
anybody that loves smooth jazz or that's a smooth jazz artist, but it's just not my thing.
It's
It
not
just
your thing.
really is, it just really isn't. Now I love me some jazz, but smooth and jazz together, mm-mm.
No. What
I'm
about
sorry.
lo-fi?
Oh, I love me some lo-fi.
I know. I love lo-fi too.
I
I
work
love.
to lo-fi. I listen to it, when I'm laying down or when I'm cleaning up. I love lo-fi.
Yeah,
It's my
I love
jam.
lo-fi too. But it was. I'm just joking with you because I know you love hip hop and you
D-
smooth jazz is on the bottom of the
don't
list.
be inviting me to no smooth jazz festival, okay? Don't do it. But smooth jazz festivals have changed. I know this is off topic, but they're not what they used to be. They have a lot of R&B artists that are on smooth
They do.
jazz festival tickets nowadays. So,
They do. They do.
but
Yeah.
yeah, don't invite me, okay? None of y'all don't be
Yeah.
like, Amanda, I got some tickets to you, for you. Unless you want to invite me to the what is it, Blue Note Jazz Festival in Napa. They have it every year. I miss it every year. I'm trying to go this year. And Robert Glasper, I love him. And Kamasi Washington, and what's the guy that plays the violin to hip hop music or just violin to R&B music? You know him?
Mm, I don't know him. No.
Damien
I,
Escobar.
yes, Damien Escobar.
Love
Yes.
him.
I saw Robert Glasper not last year. Will Downing was there last year.
Oh, really?
Lord, talk about smooth jazz. That was horrible. At the Long Beach Jazz Festival. That was horrible. I'm sorry. Did I make a
Out of
weird face?
frame. I'm out of
I'm
frame.
so
I'm
sorry.
sorry.
Will Downing was like, um, I know this is my silly side coming out. Sorry. Um, sorry, Amanda. My sophistication has gone out the window. Okay, but
Welcome.
uh, Robert Glasper,
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yes,
He
he
is
came in the
amazing.
audience and all the ladies was on. Yeah,
Oh, really?
it was really nice. Yeah,
Oh,
at
that's
the
dope.
Long Beach.
I
Yeah.
hope to see him. He's gonna be in concert soon, so I hope to see him. And but yeah, but we're all off topic, you guys. But
Sorry. This is how our conversations go when we're on the phone, though. So
welcome to the conversation, right?
yes, yeah. Amanda knows I'll be saying crazy stuff sometimes. So
And I cannot wait for the world to get to know this side of you, because you've been dropping little bits and pieces, here and there, tidbits of who, your full self. So I'm excited for them to see that for sure.
yeah,
And
yes,
that's all about having dope confidence, right? To be able to show
it
your
really
full entire
is.
side, right?
It really is, and just being unapologetic about who you are, because not
Yes.
everybody's gonna like you, and that's okay. As long as you love you, then that's all that matters. And
Hey,
Jesus,
that's right. As Myron Golden would say, I am here to serve the people that I'm supposed to serve. Okay.
right? That's it.
So thank you, Ebony.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right. We'll see you guys on the next episode of the Dope Confidence Podcast. Peace out, y'all.